Two hardworking brothers created something revolutionary, but one man stole their dream and erased them from history. This isn't just the story of McDonald's, this is a cautionary tale for every entrepreneur. A story of vision, betrayal, and one of the biggest corporate takeovers in history. Let's go back to the beginning, how McDonald's started. Let's go back to 1940. Richard and Maurice McDonald, also known as Dick and Mac, were just two hardworking brothers running a small drive-in restaurant in San Bernardino, California. Dick and Mac were the real founders of McDonald's. Back then, the fast food wasn't really fast. Customers waited in their cars while the food was being prepared, and orders often took 30 minutes or more. The McDonald brothers saw this a problem, and they came up with a brilliant solution. This was a classic example of 0 to 1 and lean startup put in one. Before anyone knew these principles, and 80 years before from now, McDonald's brothers had implemented these in their restaurant. They created the Speedee Service System, a kitchen so efficient that food could be prepared and served in under a minute. They removed car hops, they reduced the menu to just burgers, fries, and shakes, and redesigned the kitchen to function like a factory assembly line, just like Henry Ford did with cars. And guess what? It worked. The restaurant became a huge success, attracting customers from all over California. But they weren't thinking about building a global empire. They were just two brothers running a small business. Then, in 1954, a traveling milkshake machine salesman named Ray Kroc entered their lives, and everything changed. Meet Ray Kroc, a 52-year-old struggling salesman hopping from restaurant to restaurant, selling milkshake machines just to make ends meet. He was tired, broke, and desperate for success. And then one day, he got a huge order. 6 milkshake machines from a single restaurant. He had to see who placed it. When he arrived, he was shocked. The restaurant was packed. Food was being served instantly, and customers were loving it. He immediately knew this was it. This was the future of food. And more importantly, it was a gold mine. He begged the McDonald brothers to let him franchise their business. They agreed, but under strict conditions. They would control quality, and he would just be their brand representative. McDonald brothers, they were not interested in a massive expansion, whereas Ray Kroc was thinking that McDonald's can take over America. Ray Kroc wasn't just thinking about franchises, he was thinking about control. At first, Kroc was struggling. He was selling franchise licenses, but the profits weren't great. He didn't own the company, and the McDonald brothers still had the final say on everything. Kroc had no real power. The McDonald brothers controlled everything. Then he had a brilliant but a ruthless idea. Instead of just selling franchises, what if he brought the land for every McDonald's location? What if every franchise didn't just pay him a licensing fee, but also paid him rent? Kroc's master plan controlled McDonald's through real estate, essentially turning a burger company into a real estate company. With this move, Kroc didn't just make more money, he made himself irreplaceable. If a franchise owner wanted a McDonald's, they had to go through him. No options, no alternatives. The McDonald brothers were confused, realizing they were losing control. McDonald brothers were slowly losing their own business. McDonald brothers didn't see it coming. By the time they realized what was happening, it was already too late. And in 1961, Ray Kroc made his final move, an offer the brothers couldn't refuse, but a deal that would ruin them forever. And this is where the real betrayal begins. With one signature, Ray Kroc took everything the McDonald brothers had built and left them with nothing but regret. In 1961, Ray Kroc made the McDonald brothers an offer, $2.7 million in cash to buy them out completely. $2.7 million was more than what they expected. They had always said that they wanted $1 million each before they retired. So $2.7 million, it felt like a dream deal. But here's the twist. The McDonald's brothers also wanted 1% of all future profits for life. A small ask, considering what the company would be worth in the future. But they ended up making the biggest mistake of their lives. They never put it in writing. No legal contract, just a handshake. And Kroc, he never paid them a single cent of that 1% royalty. In order to avoid taxes on the deals, they didn't document it. And that one small decision cost them billions of dollars. Not rupees, dollars, billions of dollars. Even after losing the brands, the McDonald brothers only held on to one thing, the original restaurant in San Bernardino, which they had to rebrand since they had given up the name McDonald's to Ray Kroc. So they rebranded it into Big M. But Kroc wasn't just done. He wasn't just taking the McDonald's brands, he wanted to erase them from history. Kroc opened a brand new McDonald's right across the street from the original store. Big M versus McDonald's. Guess who won? Within a few years, Big M had no chance of competing against the corporate giant which Ray Kroc had built. The restaurant shut down forever. The McDonald's brothers were finished. So, how did it all end? Maurice McDonald, also known as Mac, he was unable to cope with the stress and betrayal and died of a heart attack at 69. Maurice McDonald died broke and betrayed. His brother Richard lived in a tiny 3-bedroom house and left behind just $2.7 million when he passed in 1998. Meanwhile, so Richard McDonald's fortune was $2.7 million. Meanwhile, Ray Kroc died in 1984 with a fortune of $760 million. And McDonald's, the company he took over, is now worth over $200 billion. So Ray Kroc's fortune was $760 million back in 1984, and McDonald's net worth today is worth $200 billion. And the biggest insult of all, if you Google McDonald's founder, the first name that appears is Ray Kroc. McDonald brothers are erased from history. Ray Kroc is now the official founder of McDonald's. So, what's the lesson here? Lesson 1. A handshake is not a contract. Always document everything in writing. A verbal promise means nothing in business. We sometimes feel we want to save minor taxes here and there, stay away from compliance, then try to cut corners in our business. But that could be the biggest mistake in your life, and you could end up losing everything that you created. So never do that, and always keep everything documented. Lesson number 2. Control equals power. The McDonald's brothers had the idea, but Kroc had the power. If you don't own your business structure, someone else will. Always remember, power trumps everything. Lesson number 3. Think bigger. The McDonald brothers agreed to settle for millions. They were happy with that. They were never too ambitious. They had no plans for global domination. It was Kroc who turned it into billions. So, now I ask you, was Ray Kroc a genius or a villain or a combination of both? Comment below, let me know what your thought is, and if you like this video, click the like button, subscribe to this channel and click the bell icon so I can share more such content with you. See you in the next one.